This is Financial Standard, the definitive source of news, thought leadership and analysis for Australian wealth management professionals. Financial Standard. Take the lead.
Welcome to the Financial Standard podcast. I am your host, Karen Vergara, Senior Journalist at Financial Standard. In part 2 of celebrating this year's Power50 list, we talked to financial advisor Glen Hare, who is the co-founder of Fox Hare Financial Advice, about what being influential means to him. Appearing on the list for the 6th time this year, not only is Glen a champion for the profession, he is also a business owner who walks the talk when it comes to gender equality in the workplace. Glen, welcome.
Hi, Karen. Thank you for having me.
So, Glen, what does being influential mean to you in the advice profession and for your clients?
What does influential mean to me? The first thing that comes to mind is challenging the status quo. And for us at Fox and Hare, one of our 5 principles that we certainly work and live by is embrace the wild unknown. We're a little bit different to, I suppose, your traditional financial advice firm, and we believe that the advice industry does. There's a huge opportunity to really shake it up, to drive towards making sure that we're helping more and more Australians. And in addition to that, in terms of really leaning into the influential piece, I do believe as an industry we have a huge opportunity to an obligation to try and attract new entrants to the industry, as well as everyone listening in would know that the number of advisors has halved in the most recent future. So we do have an opportunity and obligation to make sure that we are influencing those that potentially aren't a part of the profession to join what is an incredible profession, and one that can be very, very fulfilling.
Tell us more about how Fox and Hare's offering is actually different from the other advice practices. You do some amazing stuff when it comes to tackling the gender pay disparity gaps. Tell us about your firstly the clients that you serve.
Yeah, sure. So the biggest differentiator for us, Karen, is exactly that: who we work with and who we don't. So we do work with a much younger demographic than your traditional financial advice firm. I would suggest that probably 95%, if not more, of our members are in their 20s, 30s and 40s. So we do not work with pre and post retirees. In fact, if someone were to reach out to us, which doesn't happen very often given our marketing and tone of voice, but if someone were, or one of our members were to connect us with their parents as an example, we would connect them with another firm that we know would be able to help them in that stage of their life. And we're also really fortunate and quite humbled by the fact that we do have a lot of advisors within the community that do specialise in that retirement space. So would then subsequently connect us with a 20 or 30-year-old that may not be the right fit for their business model. So although the average age of an advised client in Australia, as at last year, according to advisor ratings, was 58, the average age of our member base is 34. And there's also a huge coaching element to the work that we do. So we put in front of one of our members an amazing strategy, but we also do a lot of work to make sure that we're holding them accountable to the strategy, but also ensuring that they understand how that strategy plays out in line with their medium and longer term goals as well. You touched on the gender pay disparity, and this is a really challenging one for me to answer, Karen, because to be frank, we've just never had any gender pay disparity.
Wow. That's amazing.
Since we launched the business, myself and the co-founder, Jessica Brady, we were, 50-50 split in terms of starting the business. As at today, in terms of those in senior roles and also those in middle management, again, it's a 50-50 gender split. Myself and our head of advice, Courtney Walker, every single financial year review everyone's pay to ensure that everyone is being remunerated fairly. All of our team are guaranteed an increase in their pay in line with inflation. That is true inflation. That is not the arbitrary 2 to 3%. That is the 4.8 or the 7.1 that it was the year before. And we believe that that's our obligation to ensure that our teams pay increases in line with inflation, and they're not getting a pay cut, for want of a better word, if it's not. There is also a performance element to their pay as well. So CPI is mandated at a business level, but there is opportunity for those that are outperforming to receive pay rises in addition to that. We have a parental leave policy that is equal. So regardless of gender, you have the ability to take time off when you start or grow a family. During that period, when that team member is off, we continue to pay super for up to 12 months to ensuring, because we all know that obviously not contributing to our supers in our formative years or younger years can have a huge compounding impact, and we don't want to see that play out with our members. And also, we guarantee that if one of our team were to take parental leave, that role would be there or an equivalent for when they do return to the business. So we've always taken a really active approach to ensure genuine equality across the business.
Wow, that's amazing, Glenn. Not a lot of businesses can boast of that. That's great. Fantastic work.
And we're quite circling back to your comment around the influential piece. We do share often our policies with those that ask. We don't want to be an outlier. We want this to be the norm. So I'm very happy for anyone to reach out to us, and we're an open book. We're happy to share all of this in the hope that more businesses do adopt these policies.
It's wonderful. Glenn, you have this great presence on social media in terms of also, what you share in terms of financial education. So what is your process behind this?
The first piece is just being genuinely authentic. Sometimes I worry about what I post and how it's going to be interpreted by those that see it. But my view is I should just be honest, put it out there, and it's okay if people do have differing views. And also, we put our views out there to get feedback. We don't profess to be the best. Like, a lot of what we do is learning from others that are really pushing boundaries in their own fields, and that may be through the advice industry, or that may be looking at businesses outside of our profession. But in terms of where does the ideas or the content really come from, there's three key areas I would suggest. The first is just what I'm hearing across our member base. What conversations are our advisors having? What conversations are our associates having? What are some of the key themes, some of the key wins, challenges, obstacles that our members are facing? What I'm hearing from family and friends. What for my mates that are looking to start a family or looking to start their own business, or they might be really good at what they do but completely financially illiterate. So hearing the questions that they're asking me in a general setting, of course. And the third one is just broadly what I'm hearing around the community. I was at a local winery the other weekend, and I was sitting there with my partner and Larry, our greyhound, and I was just overhearing two young guys talk about, and I was eavesdropping, and I was just listening to their approach to investing. They were just talking about, I used Perla, or how much do you have in crypto, or what are you invested in, or what ETFs do you pick? And it was just really interesting, just from my perspective, to hear a conversation between two young guys around how they're approaching their investment journey, why they're doing it, why they've made the decisions that they have, and then taking those learnings and thinking about, okay, well, how could this be relevant for others that are potentially connected or following our socials. So yeah, it does come from different areas, but it's always about listening to key themes
and being observant. That's great advice.
Yeah,
for content ideas. Now, you're very influential as well in your community, and you work very closely with Rainbow Young People.
Yep.
And you recently finished the chairship of Colour It Purple. Is that correct?
I was the treasurer of Wear It Purple.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. You're right.
You finished up your treasurership, if that's
Yeah.
even a word, at Colour It Purple.
Yeah.
So tell me more about that work that you've done for years and years and the influence that you've had.
Yeah. So Wear It Purple is an organisation that supports rainbow youth. So essentially, at its core, it encourages schools and community organisations and corporate organisations one day a year, so the last Friday in August every year, to wear purple. It's just a very simple sign of acceptance. It's a very simple sign of support. And for those that do wear purple on that day, a young kid may see you that's coming to terms with who they are. And you may not even realize the impact that you're having on their lives by showing your visible sign of support. From a business perspective, we have never focused on any specific community, whether it be rainbow community, gender, sexual orientation, race, religion. Something that we have always been really focused on is ensuring that we're creating a very non-judgmental space. Money can be incredibly overwhelming. Money can be very daunting. Money can be very polarizing. And for most people that reach out to us for that initial chat, they don't really know what a financial advisor does. They don't know if now's the right time to see a financial advisor. They're also, you can almost tell that they're a little bit nervous around, am I going to waste this person's time? We are open to speaking to anyone. If we can't help them for whatever reason, then we'll make sure that we always provide some sort of resource or connect them with another business or another organisation that can help them on their financial journey. So creating that non-judgmental space and being really open, honest, and transparent around our approach to that has really played in our favour. Given that we have a very diverse member base, which is really exciting and, to be frank, quite humbling.
And finally, Glen, the future of advice looks very bright with people like you. What do you think it looks like?
In the future, what does the future of financial advice look like? I'd love to look back at kind of podcasts and posts that I did like 5 years ago when I was asked the same question to know how I answered that and whether I actually got it right. But anyway, where do I think we're headed? Something that we are embracing in the here and now is a strong focus on coaching and accountability. And if I think about where we're at today, the amount of information that the everyday Australian can get through the likes of whether it be social media or Googling and things like that, arguably there's so much information out there that there's a lot of resource that people could be managing their finances themselves. Where I do believe financial advisors and our profession do add a lot of value is around that coaching element. I would actually put us very similar, in a similar vein to, I guess, a personal trainer. Like you could YouTube, there's heaps of online courses, things like that, but having someone standing there next to you, telling you to do 10 more burpees when you really don't feel like doing it is going to result in a better outcome over the long term. So although we're not going to tell our members to do burpees, sharing with them how spending $100 per week less or $200 per week less or investing $500 per month or putting $1,000 into super per month, whatever it is, if we can coach them around the compounding impact that that's going to have and how that aligns to where they want to be, that is going to have a profound impact. And in addition to that, probably using the PT analogy in a similar vein, making sure that we're holding our members accountable to the strategy. We can draft an amazing strategy, but unless they're implementing and sticking to it, it doesn't really mean much. So certainly for us, we're really looking at embracing technology to ensure that we can not only deliver great advice, but also deliver that accountability that a lot of people seek.
Fantastic. Glen, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Karen. Appreciate it.
Thanks for listening to this Financial Standard podcast. For more information, visit financialstandard.com.au. Please keep in mind that the information discussed in this podcast is general in nature and does not consider personal circumstances. Reliance should not be placed on any content without further independent financial research and advice.